You know, one thing I always appreciate about truly wireless earbuds, right off the bat, is usually the case when it does this. Such a nice snap. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? I'm excited to bring you my next audio review, and these are some new earbuds from One More, truly wireless earbuds that have active noise cancellation. These are the One More truly wireless ANC earbuds. Alright, there are going to be some obvious connections and comparisons between these and its main competition, the ANC-enabled Sony WF1000x M3s and the Airpods Pro. I am going to give a little bit of detail, at least in my comparison among all of those, but I don't want this video to be just that. We should look at this product on its own, and I think it is deserving of that kind of attention. Let's start off on the outside coming in. The case is metal on metal, it's a very sleek case, and on the back is a USB-C port because, well, duh. The case also stands on its own, which is kind of nice to see. It's not something you see very often with truly wireless earbuds. It's very sturdy. And of course, there is a rubber pad on the bottom that allows it to just stick down. It's not going to slide about like some other ones that are just all plastic all around. The best part about that bottom portion though, wireless charging. It's not something I use traditionally, but in my office I do have a couple of wireless pads just sort of like strewn about on my desks, so it's nice to just put the case down and it's charging indefinitely, so I don't have to worry too much about that battery life. And then here is just one little detail in the comparison between these and the Sonys. The case here is actually a little bit smaller, and it does stand upright that is, especially with that wireless charging, which also is not found in the Sonys. Taking the earbuds out, obviously they are a little bit bigger than your usual, but then again, active noise cancellation requires a little bit of tech. The outer portions are touch sensitive, but that's really only for a double tap in order to change the different ANC modes. I actually like the positioning of the button because it means you have to pinch the bud to reach the button. Most earbuds have controls right on the side, right on the outer portion of the earbud, which means you're pushing the earbud into your ear and it's just kind of uncomfortable. Which brings me to my favorite part about these earbuds, honestly, and it's these wingtips. This is a feature that we don't see often enough in truly wireless earbuds in general, much less any ones with active noise cancellation. It's a separate soft piece alongside the silicone tip that goes over the portion that goes into your ear, while the wingtip just hooks onto an outer portion and keeps them secure. One final thing about the design, it's not officially IP rated, which means that you shouldn't be running in the rain with these or dunking them or definitely not swimming with them, but they are good enough for sweat resistance, which means that casual workouts in the gym, these would work pretty well. And in my experience, they definitely have. Okay, so I was mentioning that button on the back, so let's get into the controls. This one's a bit of a mixed bag because One More's choices as far as controls are concerned seem a little bit odd. You press 3 times in order to trigger a voice assistant, 2 times for play and pause, and then 1 time for volume. This is the one that's a little bit odd to me because you press once, then wait for the volume to come up, and then you press it again and do that, and then the same goes for volume down, which is on the left earbud. And it does matter which earbud you're using because if you're only using the right one, you'll only be able to increase the volume by using that single press. There is the ability to change from previous to next track in your playlist by holding down the button for what One More says is about 2 seconds. But in reality, it's not really 2 seconds. The best way to describe it is you just hold it down until it happens. And then like I mentioned before, you just double tap the outer portions on the touch sensitive areas to trigger the different ANC modes. The bummer here though is that if you're only using one earbud, you can't use that control. You can go into the app in order to change the modes, but these modes are mainly used for when you have both ears in. Overall, the control experience just takes a little bit of time to get used to, which is not a bad thing, and like I said, I do like where the button placement is. You just have to remember what different presses and holds actually do. Alright, so connecting these earbuds to any Bluetooth-enabled device, mainly a smartphone, is really easy because it starts the pairing modes the moment you take them out of the case. Bluetooth 5.0 and Qualcomm's True Stereo Tech means that both buds will sync up easily, and even though aptX is on here and it's not aptX low latency, I haven't really noticed much latency on any of the phones that I've used with these. Unfortunately, the app is not really anything to write home about, at least currently. You can see how much battery is left in each earbud and control the ANC mode you're currently using, but that's about it. I'm told in the future that the app will get updated and include features like an EQ, so I'm looking forward to that. You have to bear in mind that either bud can be used independently, which is awesome and something I always look for in these truly wireless earbuds, but it's done by pairing them separately, even if you're going to the same device. So there's a main listing for the right earbud. That's always going to pop up whenever you're in the pairing mode. But when this one is off and the other one is searching for something to connect to, it shows up as the same listing with an _L. Once either of these earbuds are connected to whatever device they're connected to, then you turn on the other earbud and it syncs up to its master. I actually like this feature because what happens is when I have both earbuds in and I'm connected to, say, my laptop, I'm listening to what's coming out of the laptop, and when I want to switch to a different device easily, I just turn off the right earbud, which triggers the pairing mode on the left earbud, which automatically connects to my smartphone. Once that connection is made, I turn the right earbud on again, and it syncs up to the left earbud, and I have back my stereo sound only on a different device. I know, it can get a little bit complicated, and I wonder if I actually explained that properly, but bottom line is you can pair either earbud to whatever device you want, and as long as you turn that one on first and then the next one, you can get back that stereo sound easily on different devices. And if it does get a little too crazy, the single button that's on the inside of the case, if you press it 3 times while the buds are in the case, it will reset the pairing modes. That way you can start from scratch and start connecting to your devices again, whether or not you're using the right or left bud. The master bud, whether it's the right or left, tends to go for about 4.5 hours when I have ANC at full and around 75% of volume. Of course, you can put the earbuds back in the case for 15 minutes to get back 2 hours of playtime, and then the case itself will help you get to about 22 hours total as you're charging it up using the case fully. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the sound experience. In a nutshell, they're enjoyable, but there are a couple of things to keep in mind. Currently, the level of ANC that my units have affect how much bass I get. At its full level, the ANC full mode, I get a lot of bass, it's nice and booming, and then when I go all the way down to pass-through, coming down the different levels, the level of bass actually sort of diminishes. It never fully goes away, it's still there and you can still enjoy it, but one more representatives did tell me that they are going to update the firmware so that the experience of the soundstage is consistent across the board. So overall the sound experience is good, it's the soundstage that is kind of interesting. So the mids, which are typically where the vocals end up, and in spoken word content, that's what is represented the most, the mids are typically all the way in the middle, like you can really kind of feel it. Your perception of it is it's right in the middle. Instruments, especially low and high frequencies, are going to be on the outer portions of that spectrum. Sometimes that means that the highs and the lows might overpower the mids. This happens very seldomly though, and I don't imagine that it's really that much of a problem. It's just an interesting thing about the perception I have of the soundstage. This also might just be typical of One More audio products because they use dual drivers. In this case, you have a driver for the low end and then a driver for the rest of the spectrum. So maybe that separation is something that I'm perceiving and it's a One More thing through and through. But again, none of this is to say that the experience is less than enjoyable. The sound is great coming from these. It's just something that you might perceive if you are a little bit more in the audiophile segment. But for most casual users, this should be more than enough, and the ANC just kind of puts it over the top. So let's finally talk about those. Active noise cancellation is something that you'll find in big over-ear headphones, and that's kind of the best experience you can get of them. But what's great about where we are in truly wireless earbuds is that ANC is starting to come to that segment. In that regard, One More have succeeded in actually positioning themselves pretty high in an audio category that is just starting to grow. And now, in one of the few times that I'll actually mention the other competition, the One More truly wireless ANC earbuds are definitely in line with the Sonys and the Airpods Pro of the world. The Sonys do seem to cancel out just a little bit more noise than the One Mores, and the One Mores' experience of ANC are a little bit closer to the AirPods Pro ultimately. Now, the One Mores are not going to cancel literally everything out, but like I say with noise cancellation, sometimes a little goes a long way. You might get about 10%, especially higher frequencies, still seeping in through the earbuds, even with ANC at its full. Your perception will get better once you play some media to drown out what's left. Now, there is one thing that you might perceive with these, and I'm sure that One More is going to continue tuning the ANC with further firmware updates and whatnot, but some users out there would call it hiss. This is what happens when you turn on the ANC at its max, but you don't play anything. It still seems like you're hearing something, but it's not actually the noise of the outside world. It's a digital hiss because the earbuds are still trying to analyze the outside world and feed in opposite frequencies. Sometimes the result is that you still hear something in there, but it's more digital noise, a lot like if I were to stop talking right now and you're just hearing the noise coming from the microphone I'm using at the moment. And again, like I said, the ANC on here is not perfect. It's not going to drown out literally everything. One other situation that I can share with you is that when I have both of them on with ANC at max, the thing I can definitely still kind of hear is the clickety-clack of the blue switches in my mechanical keyboards. Now, pass-through is a feature that I appreciate on any truly wireless earbud, and it works well. But if you do need to talk to someone that's right next to you, you're probably better off taking an earbud out because the sensor that governs the automatic play-pause actually works really well. take out the earbud, it pauses it, put it back in, you're just back to your media. So clearly this is a story of how One More is doing a great job so far, and with a little bit more tuning, they can probably really make these some killer earbuds. I think they already are, especially because of the value, but I'll get into that at the end of this video. For now, I wanted to share a few scenarios where I have used these earbuds and they worked particularly well. I've mentioned the office scenario before where I'm in here already, it's already generally quiet, and if I just want to have something in the background while still hearing my environment, I generally have pass-through on in this environment. I already mentioned that they passed the gym test where I was able to cancel out the blaring music in the speakers of the gym and just listen to what I wanted to and get focused on my workout. And then there's probably the most common scenario, which might be when you're trying to focus in a cafe as a digital nomad. That's me. These earbuds definitely pass in that scenario, but not necessarily with flying colors. With overhead ANC headphones, I tend to put them on and not even play anything. I just want that silence. The One Mores don't quite hit that level. Like I said, a little goes a long way, so I do still get some benefit from having these on, not playing anything and just enjoying how much was cut away from the outside world. But if you are the kind of person that just needs that absolute quiet, truly wireless ANC earbuds are not going to quite hit that level because you still need to play media in order to drown out what it might not be able to cancel out. And finally, I haven't been able to take these on a plane yet, but I do think that they would be nice to have in my bag as compared to the larger, let's say bulkier over-ear headphones. If you're looking to just minimize your kits, especially for travel, these and other truly wireless ANC earbuds are definitely worth a look. What put these over the top, however, as I mentioned, are those wingtips. It makes it so that you can put these in and you know they're secure and you're not going to like fall asleep on a plane and have to worry so much about them falling out, falling under the chair, and getting lost forever. Maybe they're not as silence-inducing as the Sonys, or as control-convenient as the Airpods Pro, but the One Mores add in things like wireless charging and wingtips to make these ANC versions of their truly wireless earbuds stand out. One More outfitted these earbuds with enough extras that I think they more than make up for being slightly lower on the totem pole. So if you're looking to step up your audio experience in the truly wireless segment, these could be a great fit, both literally and audibly, because at $199 they already come in at a cheaper price than its main competitors. And I think that's the last point I want to make because it is significant for earbuds like these that work really well. If you want to check out these earbuds for yourself, I do have some affiliated links in the description down below. If you do check out these products using those links, you are helping my channel out. But if you want to continue helping out my channel, drop some likes on these videos, get into the comment sections down below. And if you're new here, please do consider subscribing and hit that bell over on the side so you can keep up with everything that I'm doing, audio, smartphones, and otherwise. But with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. I've been talking for a long time, and I would just remind you to enjoy your tea, everybody.